Hello, this is Andrew with Mammalian.bike. Today we're going to retape my rim with rim tape. This is one of my least favorite things to do. It kind of sucks doing it. So I try to avoid doing it if I can. But unfortunately, as I was winterizing this wheel, I discovered that the rim tape that I had on here had come undone enough that I needed to redo it. I have been using this super cheap rim tape that I bought off of eBay. I got a massive amount of it for not very much money, and I think I kind of know why, because it's while it does work, it definitely works well enough. It doesn't really stick to the rim as well as I would like it to. So fortunately, the folks at Orange Seal sent me some rim tape. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to try it out on this rim here, and we'll see how that goes. So this is going to be both a review of the Orange Seal tape and kind of a how-to on how to tape your wheels. Let's get started. So before this, and I already took it off, I took the old tape off, you can see it there, and then you want to clean the rim and make sure that it's in good shape and that it's totally dry, because otherwise it might not work very well. So the idea here is that you start at the valve hole, find the next spoke hole, and then kind of somewhere farther forward of it, you kind of start your tape. And you want to get this as straight as you can, and it helps just to kind of pull out a long section of it, get it down, get as much of the air out as you can, and you want to kind of get this pretty tight. Not so tight that you tear the tape. And different tapes have different amounts of tension that you can put on them before they'll destroy themselves. And then just kind of work your way around. And you notice here, if I don't get it straight, I do kind of come up and tear it off a little bit. And you don't want to push down too hard until you're confident that you have it pretty straight, and you're going to cover up all the holes. And we are going to do this 3 times. Okay, so this was the 3rd time. So just as we pass the valve stem, we're going to again go to find where the next spoke hole is, and we're going to go just past that, and we're going to cut it. So you will need a pair of scissors for this, obviously. And then get that down as flat as you can. And now then just kind of use your thumbs, and you can use a rag for this as well if you want to, just to kind of walk by, and you can hear it as I push the little air bubbles out as I walk my thumb down the middle. And you just want to do this a few times to make sure that it's all the way down, that you've got a great seal. Okay, so once you're done pushing it down, you want to find the valve hole again, and use something that's kind of sharp. You can use a nail, you can use a valve if you want to. But I have this screwdriver here that is a reasonably sharp Phillips screwdriver, and that's what I like to do. Is I just kind of feel around until I find the hole, and then just kind of punch through like that, just enough that it widens the hole out, and then grab a tubeless valve or valve from an inner tube and just kind of wiggle that around and try to widen the hole as you push it through. It's like that. In the simplest terms, you're done. You could mount a tire on here and you would be fine. But that's not actually what I like to do. You notice that I'm turning this out right now because it's the first time I did it. If I don't want to rip it out this time. As you push this in and out more often, or you actually get to this part of it, it'll widen the tape out. But you want to avoid ripping that out right now. So what I like to do is I actually like to ride or mount a tire on here with a regular tire with a tube, so that the tube essentially acts like a press against the tape, and you just put the tire on there, put the tube in there, whack it up to 100 psi or so, and just let it sit there for a day or two to push down. So if there's any air bubbles, they get pushed out the side. Okay, so tire is on. Let's inflate it. So again, the idea here with the inner tube is that it's just going to sit here and push against the tape. Push the tape against the rim and force any air bubbles out the side. Don't just let it sit for a couple days. So it's been more than a couple days since I put the inner tube in to push the tape down. Now obviously just want to stress that that is an optional step. It's just something I like to do, because as good as my thumbs are at pushing the tape down, an inner tube at 100 psi is going to be a lot better, and it's going to be more even and more consistent than anything I can do with my hands. But totally optional. You don't have to do it. It's just something I like to do. So you can see here how well this tape is now pushed in here. And when you do it this way, what should happen is that you just get a very even application of the tape, and all the bubbles should just slowly get pushed out either through the spoke holes or out the sides. And as we can see by looking at this, that's exactly what happened. So far, I am super impressed at how easy this tape, this orange seal tape, was to work with, to apply, and then how evenly it has gone on. With the blue stuff, I had to fight with it a lot more than I have with this. And that technique that I developed with the inner tubes was kind of an artifact of that, because it was more difficult than it should have been to get that to lay down flat. Now obviously I've done the same thing here, but the results here, you're just going to have to kind of take my word for it, but they are better than I was getting with the blue stuff. So now it's time to mount a tire. So I spared you all the mounting process, but tires went on. There's no sealant in here, but they're both holding air at 90 psi. So I'm going to call it a success. Obviously this is not a complete test because it kind of depends on how long the tape lasts. So I'm going to have to update that later, otherwise this review is going to last like a year. So overall, I would definitely recommend the orange seal tape. It's much easier to use than the blue stuff that I bought off of eBay. It's definitely worth the extra money because it goes on much easier, much cleaner, much easier to work with, and at least so far, it appears to be sticking to itself much better than the blue stuff did. So I'm hoping that this tape will last more than a year. If it doesn't, then I will definitely provide an update. So anyway, I hope you thought that was useful. If you did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Thanks.